Welcome to qnawire.
Again, this is a problem of combination of capacitors. So let me first draw the combination of capacitors which is given to us. So we are given 5 different capacitors which are connected this way between the points A and point B. So let's name these capacitors. So we have C1, C2, C3, C4, and C5. The values of these capacitors are as follow. So C1 is 3 microfarad, C2 is 11 microfarad, C3 is 9 microfarad, C4 is 12 microfarad, and C5 is 6 microfarad. So this is the combination of capacitors which is given to us. And in the problem, it is being asked that if the capacitor C1, which is 3 microfarad, is replaced with some other capacitor with unknown capacitance, let's say X, then in that case, when we calculate the equivalent capacitance between the points A and B, it comes out to be 8 microfarad. So we are given that if C1 is replaced with an unknown capacitor of value, let's say X capacitance, X farad, then the net capacitance between the points A and B is given to be 8 microfarad. And with this condition, we are required to find the replaced capacitor, that is the value of X. So let's say if the capacitor C1, which is 3 microfarad, is replaced with some unknown value, let's say X, let's call this as X, and we are provided that the equivalent capacitance when this unknown capacitor is connected, the equivalent capacitance between the points A and B comes out to be 8 microfarad. So this is the condition given to us. Now, our job is to find the equivalent capacitance with this unknown capacitor X. So let us try to reduce this combination of capacitors and see what happens. So as you can see, capacitors C4 and C5 are connected in series. So we can find the equivalent capacitance here for C4 and C5 and reduce the circuit. So I'm going to write it here. So if I reduce the capacitor C4 and C5, which are connected in series, I'll get this combination. So let's say the equivalent capacitance for the two capacitors C4 and C5 is C45. This, as usual, is your C1. This is C2. And we have C3 here. And the points A and B. So since C4 and C5 are connected in series, so the equivalent of capacitance for C4 and C5 will be given by 1 over C4 C5 equals 1 over C4 plus 1 over C5. So C4 is 12 microfarad and C5 is 6 microfarad. If I substitute these values here, so 1 over 12 microfarad plus 1 over 6 microfarad, and if you do the algebra, the net capacitance for this combination of C4 and C5 comes out to be 4 microfarad. So this is the net capacitance for the combination of C4 and C5 which are connected in series. Good. So now we have these three capacitors C1. So we have C1, C2 and C4, C5 which are again connected in parallel. So if you look at the combination of these capacitors, so if you look at the combination of C1, C2 and C45 which are connected in parallel, we can find the net capacitance for this combination. Let's say the net capacitance is C prime, which will be the sum of individual capacitances. So it's going to be C1 plus C2 plus C45, which we have just found. And if I substitute the values, it's going to be, so C1 is the unknown capacitor. Let's say this is X, which we are required to find, plus C2 is 11 microfarad and C45 we found it to be 4 microfarad. So it becomes X plus 15 microfarad. So this is the net capacitance of the combination of parallel capacitors C1, C2 and C45. If I still reduce the circuit, so it looks like this. So this is C prime and we have C3 here like this between the points A and B. So C prime is X plus 15 microfarad. Good. And now we see that C prime and C3 are in series. Again, if we want to calculate the net capacitance of this combination of C prime and C3, let's say the net capacitance of this combination is C double prime. So 1 over C double prime, it's going to be equal to 1 over C1, 1 over C prime plus 1 over C3. So that is what the equivalent capacitor when the capacitors are connected in series, which is equal to, so C prime is X plus 15 microfarad and my C3 is given to be 9 microfarad. Very well. And we are given that when an unknown capacitor of value X is connected, the net or the equivalent capacitance between the points A and B is 8 microfarad. So the value of C double prime is already given to us, which is 8 microfarad. So if I write it here, it is equal to 8 microfarad. I'm going to get rid of this figure. So this is the algebra which we need to do. So we need to find the value of X. And if you just do the algebra, we find that the value of X comes out to be 57 microfarad. and this is the value of the unknown capacitor or the replaced capacitor, using which the equivalent capacitance comes out to be 8 microfarad. So this is what the value of the unknown capacitor is. It's 57 microfarad.